keep in the forefront of your mind, this is temporary, this is temporary, this is temporary, this is a fucking means to this end, and the end is freedom forever. But if I give up, if I quit, if I throw in the fucking towel, my slavery is guaranteed for a fucking lifetime. The AC is blowing in my contacts, so it feels like the wind is on. Here's the deal. So I'm gonna give you guys a life update first, and then we're gonna get into the lecture. You can see from we're indefatigable, so I can't be fatigued, but from the bags under my eyes and the melancholy in my voice, it's been a long day, and it's been a long week. And I'll explain it all right now. So, number one, we've been up since 4 a.m. We did our fasted cardio, we're doing forearms, today's day one of the bulk. So, name of the game here is weak points that we're trying to bring up. Number two, I had really severe heart palpitations last night and the night before, like really, really bad ones. And so I have to identify why. And so today I didn't consume any pre-workout and still went to the gym. So the energies are negative now. Now they're -0. Because I think that might be the tourniquet of what's blasting my heart. So we're testing it to see, because I can't just remove everything from that I introduced with the bulk. Like I added butter to my diet, I added these pancakes, you know, this orange juice, all the good stuff, right? For a very clean, the protein pancakes, wholesome, whole food bulk. So I don't think it's the simple sugars. I think it's the pre-workout. But that also being said, here's the update, because the last cliffhanger that I left you guys on before we get into law, which is law number 8, which is make other people come to you, use bait if necessary, is I did not get the job that I applied for this last round. And it was very, very, very defeating. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because I made it to the final interview the second time. So imagine that. You go through the application process, you get all your letters of recommendation, right? You're all locked in, telling everybody, here's the deal, this is the plan, get on the team, we're going. You pass that screening, and then you do the application, then you test for the position, you pass that, flying colors, then you do the interview, pass that, no problem, then you get invited to the final interview, just to be told no, and then that happens a second time in that exact same fashion. Very defeating, just because you're anything away from a completely different life. Ed Milet articulates this in an interview. He says, you're a lot closer than you think. He said, you are one thought, one idea, one phone call, one sale, one, relationship or person who you meet, one interaction, whatever, date, one job interview away from a completely different transformed life. But because you think it's so far away, your actions coincide with that belief system. So you're taking these small actions because you think the distance is still so far to go, and because of that, it remains so distant because of your mindset, because of your belief. However, it's a lot easier said than done when it's no after no after no after no. I actually counted them, and this had to have been the 7th or 8th no to getting the 6-figure job. And what adds to the infuriation, the fury, the anger, the rage, the bitterness, the resentment, the spite, is it's all made up and it's all not real. It's all made up fucking numbers on a screen. And so I'm trying so hard for something that's completely fabricated, completely bullshit, made up out of thin air. And it's I don't believe it's the people who are roadblocking it, because the biggest lesson that I wanted to share with you guys, and why I'm sharing this with you here now, it's a very important life lesson. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted. And so you have two options anytime calamity or adversity or failure or negativity or rejection or hardship come onto you in your life. Two options. Well, you have 3. Number 1 is you become the villain, as in you take all of that energy and then you say, the world hurt me, I'm gonna hurt it. Number 2, you can be destroyed by it, as in you can just, you'd be like, fuck this shit, I'm done, right? And you just internalize it and you absorb it, and then you just shit on yourself, and then you go down this spiral. Maybe you introduce substances, drugs, alcohol, people who you shouldn't be, interacting with. That's the second path people take. The third one is they just give up. The fourth one, and which is the one that substantiates what Rat Life University is all about, and it's indefatigability. As in, you cannot be fatigued. There's no amount of no, there's no amount of rejection that's going to stop you from continuing to try again because of the word until. As in, you're a fucking finite number of tries away from that yes. It's a finite number. As long as you do not quit and you do not give up, you will succeed. You will break through. You will make it. You will be able to escape your fucking rat life. What gives me solace, or maybe that's not the right word, but what gives me perspective, what allows me to recalibrate, is when I look at the alternative, which is staying in the place that I am now, proverbially speaking. As in, if I had to work the fucking rat life every day, I would rather not want to continue to play the game. Because I see people do this shit, and I don't know how you call it a life. Like, I'm doing this to remedy debt and to be free forever, right? This is all it means to that end. But the people who are content that this is their plan. Their plan is to break even, to stay broke, to go to a job where you submit to another cuck every fucking day. You have to bow and scrape for the scraps, the breadcrumbs of life. And you just go home, and there's a quote that I heard from Joe Rogan. He said, most men lead quiet lives of desperation, because you go in your car to your shit job, you're sitting in fucking traffic on your way there, then you get to your cubicle with a boss that you despise, the whole rat life. But that's 40 fucking years, dude. That's some people's plan. And it's like, it's insanity. I've contemplated it many, many times, exiting, as in, not that exiting, but like cashing out whatever CalPERS I have, and I'm like, fuck this, I'll go to Albania, where the rent is like $200. But I'm just like, I can't yet, because I don't want to give up. As in, I've never given up on anything in my entire life, ever. And that's how I've always succeeded, and always improved, and always achieved. It's for that simple reason of just holding on until. Just not giving up when everybody else quits. Because I can see the path so clearly of eradicating debt, giving yourself that margin, creating that window, freedom forever, right? But until I have that one yes, that stays at that distance. Do you know what I'm saying? But you can create that through lowering your overhead expenses, through moving, through, etc. So I don't know how long I'll be able to tolerate this shit, because I'm at the end of the fucking line, in the sense of, like, I've never, because don't get me wrong, like, I've failed, and I've gotten rejection, and have persevered through adversity, but I've never tried so fucking hard for something, like, with no bullshit, with no facade, and continued to be denied. Like, I've never tried this hard in my fucking life, where it's like I'm doing all of the nerd shit, like I'm doing the LinkedIn, and I'm doing the letters of recommendation, and I have the whole fucking, and if you were a gamer, it's called PvE, player versus environment. I'm doing all of the nerd raiding, the questing, the fucking role play, because all of that's all it is. It's a courtiership. It's you wearing a fucking mask. And not to cross-pollinate the books. I know we're doing 48 Laws of Power today, but I'm currently reading, this will be book number 20 of the university, is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And he talks about the idea of not degrading your soul. And the way that you do that, he said, the way that you degrade your soul is from perpetually wearing a mask. And that's what I don't know how much longer I can tolerate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how much longer I can go into the workplace. pretending to be this character, because when I say I hate the rat life, it's fucking sickens me that it's simply modern day slavery. And I'm not saying that with arrogance or a lack of gratitude for having a job when some people don't, or a lot of people don't, or where I'm able to live, or any of that. What I'm saying is, slavery, the deal was this: I'll give you food, shelter, medicine, mates, which were other slaves, and I won't pay you. All they did was introduce fiat currency. So now I'm going to charge you for your housing, for your food, for your medicine, for your brothels, Tinder, and I'm gonna pay you and charge you for all those. And you'll have effectively nothing left over. And then sell you on all of the debt as the dream, the American dream to own a home. To pay for a mortgage where a 6% interest rate is you paying, if you have a $500,000 house on a 6% interest mortgage, 30-year fixed, in the lifetime of that loan, 500 grand you'll pay to interest, not principal. You'll pay $1 million on that five. That's the bullshit sticker price. That's the American dream, to be a slave for a lifetime. The student loan scam, something like $40,000, 30, 20, whatever, and you have them for decades. There's a reason for that. Credit card scam, car financing scam, having a requirement by law to have insurance on all this shit, and then tacking on the interest on all of this. This is how they keep you as a slave for a lifetime. And people call that a fucking life. No, it's slavery. That's all it is. It's you're going to this place to pay off your debts, and you're going to this place to have whatever lifestyle that you can't actually enjoy because you're too busy working for, to have this life. And it's that rat life fucking loop. And it's like, dude, I would literally rather live in my car. I would literally rather be in South America. And I'm leading by a fucking example here in the sense of I am indefatigable. So I'm not gonna quit. And so something is gonna give. I don't know what, but being true to my heart, I know I can't play this character very much longer. And that's not me giving up. That's me choosing to keep going in the video game of life, because that's the direction that when you're so dishonest with your character, that's how you seep into that depressive state. Jim Carrey articulates it so well. Because depression's a choice, but the choice is this. It's you choosing to play a character. He says depression is your body saying fuck you to this character you keep insisting on playing. Marcus Aurelius saying you degrading your soul is you putting on this mask, pretending to be somebody who you are not. When you're trying to escape the fucking rat life, you have to be that fucking courtier. You have to play that fucking game. You have to wear that mask. And when you have to do that day in and day out, seemingly with no return, no fruit of your labor, no light at the end of the tunnel, no hope, then it can become overwhelming, and it can feel daunting, and it can feel you can slip into potential despair. But that's from you getting buried and buried and buried day by day, into the forest, into the trees, that you can't see the forest. And when I zoom it out, it's like, dude, this is such a small fucking price to pay. 2 years of this bullshit versus a lifetime of freedom. A lifetime. And that's why I can't give up. That's why I can't quit. That's why I have to be indefatigable, because I constantly, like I said, recalibrate. What is the alternative? That as your life. And I can't fucking do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would literally rather be homeless. I would literally rather not play this video. I would rather be on the fucking street and free than a fucking cog in a wheel slave, rat in a maze for my life. That's not freedom. You know what I'm saying? That's not how we were meant to live. It's not how God intended the game to be played. So I'm saying all that to say, what I did was I took all of that energy, right? All of that fucking rage. Because when you get to that point where you're a coin flip away, and it's the second time, and you've tried for 14 months without quitting and without giving up, and then you get another fucking no. Let me tell you, you get a plethora of this power because that's all it is. I want that to be very clear. When you get things like heartbreak, when you get things like the depression, when you get things like no, rejection, anger, whatever, it's the most powerful fuel to fucking catapult you forward. I know I said catapult and then I did a bow and arrow, but that's exactly what it is. So when you say to God, when you say to the universe, I want this, he says, no problem. The answer is always yes. But what if, what they say, life happens for you to have the motivation, to inspire the action. I need to push some pain. I need to have you feel some pain, because that's what's going to get you to stop these vices. And dude, I had traveling plans that I wanted to do over the next year. I said, I don't give a fuck about any of that. I was still prolonging the cut. I said, we're done with this shit. We're starting our book. I was very scattered in terms of my debts repayment plan. I got crystal fucking clarity. I was like, I'm so sick of this shit, of being this slave, of being in debt. I said, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And then I'm using whatever margin I have right now, and it's just going to debt and debt and debt. And I did that for, I have a list, but I did it literally for as many things as I could. And I have it on it's called the list. And I changed my alarm clock to 4 a.m. I'm doing fasted cardio with my weak point training now, meditating every morning. I'm reading about at least an hour every day. And so what I'm doing to be on the cadence that I want to be on with the university is I counted the pages of the books and then divided them by the number of days that I'll have between shooting for the books. And so now I have these tasks of like, okay, I need to have these many pages written on this, read on this day. And then I applied that to training, and I applied that to all the grants that I'm applying for, and I applied that to the debt with each person that I'll have repaid in full, and what dates. I'm writing a book for someone very special, and so I'm working on that. And then all of my diet, all of the food, all of the macros, all of the books for the university, like I took all of that fucking rage and anger and disappointment and frustration, and I was like, I'm not going to do nothing and quit and give up. No. I'm not going to say fuck the world, right, and be this Thanos or this Joker, those characters, because it's cool. You learn this in cinematography and film, that the hero and the villain have the same story, that they experience pain, they experience hurt. But the villain says, and I said this earlier in this lecture, I said, the world hurt me, I'm gonna hurt the world back. Whereas the hero says, the world hurt me, I'm gonna make sure no one else feels this pain. And that's what's really cool. And then that kind of gives me solace about why I have to go through this for my hero's journey. Because then I'm the one who's the best example of anyone can escape the rat life, but it's gonna take everything you fucking have. And you're gonna wanna give up, and you're gonna wanna throw in the fucking towel, and you're gonna wanna quit, and you're gonna wanna just wallow and have your pity party. And you have to look at the alternative, because the alternative is, if you don't save yourself, if you don't find a fucking way, your slavery is guaranteed for your entire life. And you have to, that has to be the default thought. It's like when I have the negative energy to film this lecture today, and I know we're almost 20 minutes in and I haven't even talked about it, about the law. You have to show up on the days you don't want to. You have to try again. You have to continue to get up, to dust yourself off, to keep going, to try one more fucking time, and then when you have nothing left, then you have a little bit more. Tom Platz puts it, he's like, when you have nothing left in the gym when you've hit failure, you've got 5 more reps. And that's when you think you've given it your all. And then, no, but there's also that reserve energy, that 5 more. The beauty is you find out what you're capable of. And there's beauty in that, to find out what strength lies within you. But the way that you tap into that often is by experiencing very severe pain. And then I learned from Jim Rohn, the most powerful word in the English language, until, a huge one. I'm gonna try until I succeed. But it's also enough. It's the day where you're so sick and you say, dude, fuck this. I'm changing my life forever. So I hope that gives you some insight, some clarity, the latest and the greatest. I took a test for a different job this morning that I passed. I got invited to an interview. It's in a completely different department. So it's in maintenance and operations as one of the supervisors for it. And I haven't done that since I was an undergrad at UCLA. So I wouldn't hire me for that job. But I'm just gonna keep trying and trying and trying. And then eventually, we're gonna fucking make it. We're gonna escape. Because what is the alternative? Here we go. So, law number 8 is, to recap, law number 7 for my students at home. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. No, because you're not a snake, weasel, rat. And you're also indefatigable. That's the whole takeaway from this lecture. 2 things. You are indefatigable. I want you to memorize the quote. It was an earlier homework assignment. My unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. That's you. You. Number 2. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted. It can only be converted. And Andrew Tate, he says the exact same thing, but it's so true. My most transformative periods of my life were at my lowest. We're at my lowest. It's when you have all of that pain and all of that sorrow and all of that despair and all that anger and when you're in this depressed state, not depression, a choice, but we get depressed and you're like, fuck playing this character, fuck these habits, fuck this neglect. I'm gonna get up early. I'm gonna put in the work. I'm gonna do more applications. I'm gonna, get my diet together. I'm gonna get my fucking debt under control. I'm gonna map out a plan. I don't give a fuck what it takes, how long I have to try. If I'm by myself, fuck it, I'll do it, right? I have had the most transformative periods of my life. That the catalyst for it was soul-crushing pain. That's what it takes. And that's why most people don't become, period. They don't become anything of merits, of metal, of character, because they don't go through the fire required to be forged into that made man. And you're seeing it in mass in this generation. Pussies, man. Cowards, cucks, just the fucking weak, because they've never been tested, and it shows. It shows in their arrogance, it shows in their ego, it shows in their lack of humility, their lack of self-respect, respect for others. And time humbles people. So in time, they'll get some small tragedy, right? They'll get into a fucking car accident or something, and it'll be the end of the world for them because they never went through any real adversity, real struggle. So I saw another video by Andrew, and he said, I am so grateful for all the hell that I had to go through because I would be a fraction of the man that I am today if it weren't for those things. And I couldn't feel any different. I feel the exact same way. Like, I'm very grateful I have all of these very unique experiences. Imagine you were able to play a video game and you got to, that's an interesting way to word it. You got to live in your car for 93 days. You got to do a business, which I will be debt-free from rat life within less than 4 weeks. That took 3 fucking years to correct, to undo. That's painful. That burden where it's like, I said it in the car today, I said, I haven't been happy, like truly myself, like in complete harmony with who I am, right? Alignment, authenticity, not playing a fucking character, financially flourishing, happy relationships, like abundant, free. I said in 3 fucking years, man. To have the strength to keep going, to try again, to remain positive and optimistic, dude, it is not easy. I'm going to tell you that first. Not easy, right? But what is the alternative? I can't stress that enough. What is it, right? If not positive, if not hopeful, if not optimistic, the alternative is you going to your job and looking around you and saying, this is my entire fucking life. I might as well blink and it be 50 fucking years from now because I'll be in the same fucking place if I don't do something about it. So, beautiful. I'm very thankful for the heartbreak. Breaks. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm very grateful for choosing to just give other people love, right? Regardless of how it has been not as received, how it's been sent back. Very grateful that I'm consistent in my actions with who I say I am, right? Honest, with honor, with integrity, with character, with work ethic, respect, consideration for others. Like, I take pride in that, you know? But with all of the failures and all of the adversity and all of the struggle, they're all gifts, because I wouldn't be the man I am today if it weren't for those things, right? And so now I'm such a better friend for other people. Now I'm such a better lover for my future wife, right? A better provider for her, not just financially in the future, and not just physically, intellectually, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Sexually is not a problem. But you're a better son, dude. You're a better brother. You're a better father. You're a better everything to other people by you becoming more, by you becoming better. But you don't grow in the absence of pain and discomfort. So if you want to be more for the people who you love, and that's another frustrating part of your journey, your hero's journey, even the people you love won't be on your team. They won't be supporting you. They won't be loyal to you. They won't be helping. They'll be distant. They'll be non-existent, right? That's part of the journey, is you walk a very fucking lonely path, right? And that's the game. And you have to remember that you're doing this for them at time's end. But you have to fucking keep going. Otherwise, you won't be able to give more because you won't have became more. Does that make sense? So, moral of the story, keep fucking going. Don't give up. We're all gonna fucking make it. This is Rat Life University. All my students, including Professor Tarkhouse, are indefatigable. And life is happening at all times for us, not to us. And before God, I stand by this statement that if you do not give up and you do not quit, you will be rewarded. So with that, we'll get into the lecture. That's the latest, that's the greatest. So forgive the calm demeanor and the bags under my eyes, but we are doing our motherfucking best. All right, here we go. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Quote from the book. For playing for long-term power, most often the most effective action is to stay back, keep calm, and let others be frustrated by the traps you lay for them. So a part of the staying back, keeping calm, and seeing other people, squirm, particularly in the workplace, can be achieved by you just being silent. You don't have to lay any traps. You don't have to, conceive any games and schemes and manipulations. You could literally just be silent, not take their bullshit. I have to keep using the gaming analogy. The rat life is literally PvE, player versus environment. It's campaign mode. It's questing. It's you doing the same shit, fighting the same boss, the same mechanics, right? It's the same script. If I'm talking to the coders out there, it's the same script that they're running every time. And so it requires no skill, right? Once you learn the mechanics, then you could play that instance, that raid, that dungeon, that fucking level to the end of time. But those nerds think it's work, and they think it's hard, and they think it's real. It's all made up, and it's all easy. They've never been into the fucking arena. So when you see them squirm and squabble over nothing, you can just literally chill and relax. That'll achieve that first quote. Next. My lips are dry because of the AC. You must learn to master your emotions, and which is actually just a super important tenet for masculinity, is emotional control. Stoicism, there's an Asian guy teaching English on Instagram. I deleted Instagram, by the way. Another distraction. And he's like, strawberry. I was saying that on my walk the other day. Anyway, because I said stoic, it reminded me of strawberry. I don't want to cross-pollinate, but in Stoicism is the theme behind the book Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, which will be book number 20, which will be the next video. Exciting. Never to be influenced by anger. Easier said than done. Meanwhile, however, you must play on people's natural tendency to react angrily when pushed and baited. So my weasel rat superior would do this to me by inviting me to a meetings that was optional for me to attend, but because he knows my consideration, agreeableness in the workplace, even when it was no longer required for me to sit there, he would purposely prolong his talking point, and he would see me fucking seething because he knew I wanted to get the fuck out of there. And so that he applied that little rat weasel scheme to myself just by, what did I say? Playing on people's natural tendency to react angry when pushed and when baited, and when you know the weasel is enacting weaselry. Like, not to go into a tangent, but the same weasel rat literally is having these HR meetings with these other employees because of mistreatment. Because when you give a weasel cuck bitch power, what are they going to do with it, dude? The power corrupts. There's a phrase that my indefatigable ass can't spring to the top of my head right now, but power corrupts absolutely, I think was the sentiment. As in, when you give a very weak person a position of authority, they abuse the fuck out of it, and they mistreat, and they guise put downs and insults in the guise of a joke in a public setting. They're weasel rats, and so Professor Tarek Houks, who understands what you tolerate is how you teach others how to treat you. I don't tolerate that bullshit. And I call that out very quickly at the very start of my employment at my current rat life workplace. And you find like the chihuahua with a bark, how quickly pussies that classify themselves as men cower when they get called out on their fucking bullshit. But to the other people who are actually afraid of losing their job, afraid because now they have a baby that they have to provide for, a wife they have to feed. So it's like, no, they can't risk this. But it's like, I play the game like I have nothing to lose, because if it's integrity or being fucking homeless, I have nothing to lose. It's my name and it's my honor. As in, if you're gonna be a weasel rat, you'll have the courage, I'd hope, to be able to have a conversation with me man to man, right? Because all of this bullshit subsides the second we walk out of this fucking office. And I literally made him afraid by being a man and talking to him with honesty. And that's the thing, though, is those smaller, when I say smaller, the very agreeable people in the workplace, in the rat life, they don't call out bullshit and injustice and maltreatment out of fear, right? Because it's not so bad, I guess I'll tolerate a little bit. And it's like, if this bullshit, the cuck is the easiest word to describe them, thought they could get away with this outside the workplace, dude, you would grab them by their fucking throat and put them on the curb. But they get away with this garbage, and it's super fucked up every day. And this happens all over, man. All over. Harassment, abuse, mistreatment, just all of this garbage. This is literally modern day courtiership. Nothing has changed, right? That song by, High School Never Ends by Bowling for Soup. Nothing changes, man. It's all the same shit. Literally, the nerds that I work with, it literally feels like high school. I swear. I look around and I picture them 30 years younger, and I'm just like, you were all the fucking nerds here. And I was the guy in the library. And I'm calling them the fucking nerds. It's wild. It's crazy, man. All right, moving on. Mastery of emotional control, stoicism, conceding your emotions with an unfazed, bland exterior, unreadable, undefinable, you're in control. And thus, you're in power. It's very true. There's a power in you being able to respond and not react. And yet people, excuse me, it's like a muscle, untrained, unconditioned, when people just react. Challenge yourself. The next time this happens to you, have the courage to just be silent, to just process, to just consider, to just respond, not react. And something that I learned, and it was so beautiful, and it was strength that I did not have. And I saw it from, her name's Dr. Holstrom, who wrote me one of my letters of recommendation. Amazing woman of God. And the weasel rat disrespected her ridiculously, and she bit her tongue, didn't say a word, excused herself, and I went up to her afterwards, because I have to give specific praise and recognition, have to pay credit where it's due. Assignment in this university. And an assignment with me being in alignment with the man I am. I pay credit where it's due. And I told her, I said, that was unbelievable what you did, because I would not have had the strength to do that. To be able to stay cool, calm, collected, stoic, emotional mastery, right? And she appreciated it so much. She said, thank you. I have this rule where if somebody says something, Lihia, you know that you're not in a place right now to respond with something that, is going to work out or be how you would like it, that interaction to go. So I'm going to wait. I don't know if it was a 24 or a 72-hour rule, but I'm going to wait until I can see clearly, where I'm not veiled by all of these emotions. I don't have this facade of turmoil blinding my vision, poisoning my heart, to where I can no longer see them through the lens of God, right? And so then able to have that conversation later, all is well. And that takes strength and patience that most people, including myself, don't have. But I'm at that stage now with my rat life job to where I refuse to waste thousands of dollars of emotion on these 5-cent irritations. I refuse to do it. I've raised my cortisol, wasted, right? And it's like, I'm not going to age myself like any of you for your garbage, for your stupidity, for your arrogance, for your treachery, for all of your lies, all of your deceit, all of your manipulations. You can go fuck yourself. I am choosing to remain composed, to keep my garden beautiful, right? You're in control. That's power. That's power to where outside influences cannot fuck with you, cannot penetrate your garden, because you're standing guard at the doorway of your mind, because you are unfazed. You cannot be phased. Does that make sense? Next, nerd analogy. So when I want to reach everybody watching this video, so maybe this reaches one. It's windy outside. I don't know why that is open. One nerd, here we go. Nerd analogy. Kiting a melee DPS as a locker druid, what the frustration does to their decision making, the abilities they use waste, trinket, or they'll IBF nothing, and the overextension. So it's the premise of the law. Make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. When you play a video game and you're a caster, right? You're a warlock or a mage. I'm going full nerd here. And you kite melee DPS. Melee have to be in a certain range in order to hit you. They have to be in close proximity in order for them to do their melee attacks. And so what caster DPS will do, damage per second, people who, cast, they have a cast time, so they sit there and they cast the spell, and they'll get distance from them, right? And then they'll apply what are called dots, damage over time effects, that slowly kill them. And they'll stay at a distance to where this person is slowed, they're snared, they're rooted, they can't get to them. And so what they're doing is they're using bait, and they're making them impatient, and they're causing them anger because they're dying and they can't get to their target that they just want to unleash upon, right? And so in the video game, they'll do things rashly. They'll waste their abilities, their trinkets. It gets you out of a stun when you're immobilized. They'll waste their abilities. They'll rush it. They'll panic. All of these things, and they're literally falling into this person's trap because they know they're going to waste this, because they know that they're getting to them mentally, right? It's the ones that have the strength to stay cool, to stay calm, to stay collected, to not panic, that are able to connect, right? To persevere. It's a perfect nerd analogy for in real life. When you're playing this bullshit game, you can literally make people foam and froth and seethe with anger and rage and bitterness and spite, just from your bullshit treachery, the game that you're playing, right? You can make people so livid and so angry and so upset from your bullshit manipulations to where they just say, fuck this, right? The power is staying calm, cool, collected, but also that quote, I wasn't saying it just to have fun. My unmatched perspicacity. What does that mean? My unmatched, unparalleled, it's on this highest level possible, ability to perceive. I'm observant, right? I see all of the bullshit. I see through all of these facades, right? The smiles out here in court, right? In the public. I hear the conversations. I see the bullshit that you're doing behind closed doors. These people, I have their loyalty. They tell me what they do and how they go to HR and that they say, and so when it's so cool in my position in the rat life, because I get to see the whole Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, right? I get to see the guy behind the curtain. It was a Greene dude or something. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. Dorothy! I get to see all that shit. So all of they call it politics. No, it's immaturity. It's a lack of integrity. It's fucking childishness. That's politics. And so they'll do all these games and schemes and bullshit, but then they'll put on this smile, oh man, we're so sad to see you go, it's this, when in reality, no, they had this person on a fucking work plan. They were planning on firing them. They're leading them on. They're abusing them. They're doing all this shit behind closed doors, but then in public, to the masses, it's all smiles. It's all facade. It's a modern day Roman fucking circus. It's all bullshit distraction. It's all lies distracting you while they fuck you. So I hope that nerd analogy makes sense, right? You're a warrior, you're a death knight, right? And you're trying to get to the warlock, but he has Curse of Exhaustion on you, so you're slowed by 30%. It used to be 70%, but they nerfed it. And so you're trying to get to the guy, but then he also has Affliction on you with Curse of Elements. No, you can't have two curses on at the same time. So he has Curse of Exhaustion, Curse of Agony, right? They changed it to Bane of Agony later on. And then he has Unstable Affliction, and then he also used Haunt, which increases all of his dots, his damage over time effects, like we went over earlier, by 20%. And then he's also draining life simultaneously. So you see your health is going like this, like this, like this. And so what are you doing, right? You're trying to heroic leap over there, but he's with his Resto Druid, so he has you rooted, can't do that. And then he's gonna teleport, as in that's one of his abilities. He can teleport from here to here the second you charge him. So then you're gonna have to waste heroic leap as well. And I fucking miss that video game so much. If this doesn't work, right? If Rat Life, I'm done with it, I throw it in the towel, I'm going back to that game because I was Gladiator. I was literally one of the best players in the world at that video game. And when I say that, I'm not saying that just to blow smoke. I literally competed with the best and won. Like the people who win the #1 championships, like in the world, I played with those people and against them. And I beat them. And it's like, that's how good I was at that fucking video game. And I miss it. There's a quote from Tenacious D where he's like, I miss that sweet ass Lego mine. That's how I feel about the video game. I fucking miss it so much. Does that make sense? Moving on. Effortlessly luring these scrubs into your trap to decimate them and make them want to Alt F4 IRL. So again, if you Alt F4, it means you exit the game because that closes the application. You make them want to do that in real life, exiting the real life character game. You understand? Nice. Don't worry, I have a dating analogy as well. So this is for, well, you could still be a nerd, but then this is for you. my UCLA date, the illusion of organic. So again, this ties in with make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. So, and then I put underneath, you play right into your hands. Dating analogy story. I haven't told many people this, but you're hearing it now. I used to run this date when I was an undergrad at UCLA, and it worked every fucking time. And I would do the same one, where I would enchant, charm, seduce this girl. Hey, let's go on a date. Yes, I would love to, right? And then, okay, we're gonna do something special, right? And then, oh no. And so I would do a picnic date, which is very unique, as in most people would go to, fucking In-N-Out or do whatever. No, we're gonna have a picnic. And then it's like, dude, that's awesome, right? And I would purposely do it towards the evening, and then I would do it in the grass area by Powell Library, right? I would go there every single time. And I would purposefully underdress. I would wear a t-shirt knowing I was gonna be cold. And I'll say the whole thing. And then I would choose foods like berries and Ferrero Rochers and these kind of things, little hand edible things that you could literally, feed to each other, if you wanted to or something. Or I had one girl throw them at me. She went off script. And I was like, you're not supposed to do that. And then I put like a single rose in there, and this whole thing. And so I would purposely have the date here. And then I would play a game where you ask each of the person a question of like, the rule was you couldn't repeat the question that was asked. And you didn't have to answer if you didn't want to. So it's like, what's your favorite color? Okay, and then what's your whatever? And then you could be as raunchy with it as you want, just gauging, the person on the date. It's like, when did you lose your virginity? Or, have you ever had a threesome? Or you can, again, you can push the fucking envelope. Or you could keep it light, you can keep it playful. What's your favorite Disney dragon? Whatever. The last question I would always do, because prior to that, we'd be like laying down in the grass area on like a blanket or something that I may have brought that was covering the basket, the picnic basket. But I'd be very, very cold and very, very shivering. And so that would give the other person an excuse to, be very close to me to sort of warm me up, because they would literally see my teeth chatter. And then the last question, as we were laying down, looking at the stars, because I would recreate the scene from The Notebook, was I would always ask this: what is your rule for how many dates before you kiss the person? I'm wording it correctly, right? It's like, what is your rule for how many dates, before your first kiss? And I would always know the answer to it, because all girls would say the same shit. They would say, well, I don't really have a rule, whenever it feels right. And then I would play the line. So if you're on a date with a really cute guy who recreated a scene from The Notebook, would that be a good time to have a first kiss? And then every single time, well, I guess, yeah, and then boom. I'm sharing that story because organic was a fucking illusion. An illusion. And people, particularly in dating, they like, I just want it to be organic. No. You can script an entire fucking thing. And I put in these notes, if you can become very masterful of seduction when you harness tonality, when you can bring something to a whisper, you play on someone's subconscious. When I'm whispering to you, what does that suggest? I trust you, because when I whisper, it's when I'm telling someone a secret. People are more inclined to trust people that trust them. That's one thing. Using their name is another thing. If you don't think, we learn this in How to Win Friends and Influence People. The most sweetest sound to any person in any language is the sound of their own name. You don't fucking abuse it, you don't say it every single time. But if you can say their name, and then you use it in a whisper, and then it makes them excited. And what does the whisper do? It plays on their subconscious of, another whisper, their name. Wow, I'm important. Why? Because when you remember someone's name, what does that insinuate? I'm worth remembering. Do you see? So you can do all of these things where, and I'll give you another tip, is escalate physically. You don't have to kiss them. The instant way that you can differentiate yourself from friend zone, they call it, is by touching the other person. Because what does that do to the subconscious? It plays on, this person feels comfortable touching and being touched by me. So you don't do it in a creepy way. I would always do it with tattoos. So it'd be like, they'd have a tattoo on their arm. They're like, whoa, is that your tattoo? They're like, yeah. And people don't do things that they're not happy or excited or they don't have a reason for. That's why they wear the fucking earrings that they wear. They paint their nails this is the color. They get the tattoo of that shape or, you know, picture or whatever. So it's meaningful to them. And so they're very happy to show and to, you know, and to feel recognized and appreciated for something that, you know, means a lot to them. So I'd say, oh, is that a tattoo? Oh, great. Can I see it? And then they're like, yeah, of course. And then I go like, I would, wow, that's such a cool tattoo. Why am I sharing all of these little tips and tricks and secrets? It's all an illusion. It all, like an actor, you can make it feel so effortless from rehearsal that come the show, it feels organic to the point where make others come to you. When I was shivering cold, right, laying down, and then you have this girl that is like, oh wow, let me warm him up, right? That wasn't an accident. Again, make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. Use a picnic bait. There was the Tinder swindler who he would go on Tinder and then he would get people to pay for his dinner and then he would leave. He would use bait if necessary because he was really handsome. They called him the Tinder swindler. Anyway. So that was my dating analogy. So I gave you a nerd analogy of how you can, you know, again, make other people come to you. And then you can do it in dating to where you make it feel organic, right? All an illusion. It's all a game. Do you see? Did I even need to read this? No, I'm just kidding. But next. So that's a dating analogy. You play right into their hand. And then I put modern dating is simply ignoring people. And I put ignoring them and they will chase you. We went over this with saying less than necessary or, you know, just using silence as a big tool. But when you want to make other people come to you, literally just ignore them. It's crazy. And it's very annoying. And I've had this frustrated dialogue many a times. But in the modern world that we live in, people love to not have these, you know, honest conversations or, you know, just being honest that you're available and that you respond, you know, quickly or no. You gotta play all these bullshit games that you're, you know, busier than. I've gotten texts from fucking millionaires instantly. It's because they value their fucking time. So they don't come back to their phone 3 hours fucking later. And play these stupid games where, oh no, I gotta wait 24 hours. No, I have to leave you unseen to see if you'll double text yourself, to see if you tolerate disrespect. They don't do any of these bullshit games. So in terms of modern dating, making other people come to you, try this if you're a young man, if you're a guy. Some chick messages you who she's conditioned by your behavior, your actions, that you'll respond to her every time. Don't do it one time. For the first time ever, she'll reiterate. And she'll start making excuses for you. Maybe he's too busy. Maybe he's talking to other girls. Maybe all of a sudden, his value now is perceived to here. Why? It's all perception because your value, your attention is nothing, is zero. The way that you increase your value of your attention, which is worthless, is by omitting it. This chick is getting these likes, these, you know, heart responses, these DMs, these whatever. Your superpower is fucking ignoring her. I know it's stupid. Trust me. The whole game is, I hate it so much. It's all bullshit, right? But it's the reality. If you want to make this person come to you, if you want to increase your respect, it's in your absence. It's in your lack of availability, right? Oh, he's too busy. Oh, he's working. Oh, he's grinding. Oh, he's doing this. Oh, he's talking. They'll harness their most powerful thing in the world, their imagination, right? So that's modern example of making other people come to you. Is just fucking ignoring them. Nothing is more attractive than the person they can't have, that they're not good enough to reach, right? That they get a weak delayed response. Again, it's all bullshit, I don't align with it in terms of character, honesty, integrity, of just, you know, I wish all of these bullshit games didn't exist and people could just have these great conversations and respond quickly and life was kumbaya, right? But this is the world that we live in. But it makes sense though, that if somebody is getting 10,000 likes and 10,000 views and 100 DMs every single day, your attention, you can only give your attention value from the omission of it. Because if you're giving attention with zero romantic reciprocity, that's an unequal value exchange, because you're just giving, and they're not giving you anything in return. Do you see? So what do? You omit it. You're not watching their stories, you're not fucking liking their stories, do you see how I'm tying it into the modern Rat Life University? Because I know this is the problem young men face, is, wow, no one gives a fuck about me. I'm insignificant, I'm not getting matches on dating apps, I'm unliked, I'm not, you know, I don't have a status, I'm not financially affluent, and these people are getting messages from, you know, the blue Instagram ticks and the, you know, musicians and the athletes and all this bullshit. And understand, young men watching this, your game isn't 18 to 28 like these girls' games are. Your game starts at 28. Starts. That's when you're starting to play the game. Focus on yourself. I deleted fucking Instagram. I'm gonna have that deleted for the rest of 2024. 100%. My word. Will I re-download it? Perhaps. But as of right now, it's just a distraction. And I was like, I need to get fucking serious, and I need to get crystal clear, crystal focused. It's gonna end, so we'll do one last one. Here we go. So does that make sense? I give you the video game analogy of making other people come to you, use bait if necessary, use the dating analogy. Organic is an illusion. You can make people come to you by it being so fluid and so seemingly organic and off the cuff and effortless by your mastery of that craft of, was I a seducer in my younger days? Perhaps, right? Was I the charmer? Maybe. Okay, next. So that's, and then the modern one is just ignoring people. Here we go. Using absence, which I think is a law in the book, to create respect from other people. There we go. We're almost done. Once someone suspects he is being manipulated, it becomes harder and harder to control him. So that's when the game ends. The game ends when you break the fourth wall of the movie. So it's when you tell, and I've done this because I wanted them to be aware of it. Because I remember I was on a date at one time, a long time ago, with this woman who, she played the organic card. And she said, I wouldn't be manipulated. And I said, it would happen without you even fucking knowing it. And I literally listed to her, not that I was manipulating her, I want to put that caveat in there, but I listed all of the things that I had subtly done that she was clueless to, including using her name, including the tonality, including the escalating physically with just a single touch, including all of these things, right? And then that seed gets planted and they're like, whoa, wow, I didn't know that. And it's just, that's the game though, is the game ends when the person is aware of it. But when you make your opponent come to you, you create the illusion that he is controlling the situation. So that's the thing. You create the illusion that they're in control, that they're in power, that it was their decision to go to that place, right? He does not feel the strings that pull him. And it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So it's all, life is a game, dude. Life is you're either the puppeteer or you're the fucking puppet, right? You're either free or you're a slave. You're either the one who stands guard at the doorway of his mind or the one who's that fish in a glass bowl. You're either the one who has unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer indefatigability, right? What's the end of that? Who's a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. Or you're not, you know what I'm saying? Or you're not observant, or you let life happen to you, or you are fatigable, you do give up, you do quit, you do throw in the fucking towel, you do not try again. But not if you're a student at this university. Next. next. The more natural, effortless you make them feel, the more you can be suggestive. So I didn't use the word manipulative, suggestive in terms of their behavior and actions. And then I put using their name, escalating physically with tattoos, whispering, harnessing, tonality. And then this is the last note. I have one more note. Okay, this one, I think this was the next one. The game is different when you are being pursued. So it's 100% different when you're being pursued. When you're being pursued by a woman who's messaging you, who's this, then again, you're literally the one that has all the cards. You're the one in control. You're the one who can set the response time. You're the one who can set this. And it's a very, very different game. And this is important for the young men watching this, that you're not chasing these randoms who aren't giving you the time of day, who are making you feel uncomfortable being yourself, unconfident with who you are, uncomfortable in your own skin, hard to love, right? You're not wasting your fucking energy on these people, right? You're focusing on yourself. And the irony is, the more you ignore them, right, the more attractive you become to them. The more you chase, the more you pedestal, the more you all this, then all you're doing is treating them like a fucking celebrity. And so by definition, they have to treat you like a fan, right? So the game is different when you're being pursued, when they're messaging you, right? Because you're focused, you're on your path, you're taking your fucking physicality, taking it, what's the word I was gonna use? Huh? Are we losing it? No. We have one more meal and then we're going to sleep. Taking it seriously, man. You're getting your fucking finances in order. You're on your mission, on your path, on your purpose. You need to be the leader, right? They can't follow you if you don't lead. So focus on yourself. That's this whole season right now, dude. Is you're not focusing on this person, this person, this person. You're not chasing these motherfuckers, right? Let them go. Focus on your garden and the butterflies will come. There's an airplane outside. We're finishing. Here we go. The last note. I'll pause this because that is very loud. You know it. It was in my last note. The person who makes others come to him appears powerful and demands respect. I'll say that again. It's very important. The person who makes others come to him appears powerful and demands respect. That's in your absence. That's in your silence. That's in your emotional stoicism. That's in your emotional control. That's in your response, not in your reactions. You make other people come to you. You're that calm pilot amidst heavy turbulence. Powerful. You. Don't chase. Focus on your garden. Let your work speak for itself. And that, my friends, is law number 8. To recap, law number 8, make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. I hope you enjoyed. This is Rat Life University, and it's so important that I reiterate the credo, the mission of Rat Life University, why we're doing this, which the premise is anyone can escape. Anyone can escape the rat life. I don't give a fuck how many no's you'll face in this life. Anyone can escape. It starts with belief that it's not an infinite distance away, that you're one fucking yes away from a completely transformed life. It's so important. It starts with belief, that fucking belief, and then that you're deserving of it. You're worthy, and the courage to pursue. What does that mean? The courage to pursue means the courage to fail and to try again. The quote from Winston Churchill, failure is going from success, is going from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm from one failure to the next. And you have to do that over and over and over for perhaps fucking years. And while it's soul crushing playing a character who is not you, you have to fucking reiterate, you have to calibrate, you have to keep in the forefront of your mind, this is temporary, this is temporary, this is temporary, this is a fucking means to this end, and the end is freedom forever. But if I give up, if I quit, if I throw in the fucking towel, my slavery is guaranteed for a fucking lifetime. So, with that is Rat Life University. That's what we're doing this for. These 1,000 books not for what we get, for the man we have to become in order to achieve this, to complete this quest, right? To be able to plant trees under whose shade we will never sit around the entire fucking world. That's the dream. That's why we're doing this. And while anyone can escape, we're all gonna fucking make it. So thank you for enduring, being patient with my energy levels at here. You know I didn't want to do this video today because I didn't feel like doing anything this past week, right? Very defeating, very crushing, right? But what's the alternative? Who are we, right? Indefatigable. It means we cannot be fatigued. We do not give up. We try again until we're not. We'll all fucking make it. Ratliff University, law number 8. I will see you in Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, book number 20, next time.